You're working on the International Space Station and you manage to encounter a brand new life form. You start researching it. You even have children at elementary school on Earth name it Calvin. But then you start discovering just how dangerous it really is. What do you do? Hi, goes host Jolly Yellow talking to you, and I'm here to share something with you that you may otherwise not see. Today, I'm presenting to you the movie Life. So as I discussed in the question, events of life, very straightforward. A new form of life is discovered, and then we see that this life is not coming in peace, and it is not non-hostile. In fact, it is quite hostile. In order to maintain its own life, in order to stay alive, it has no problem killing other people. Released in 2017, Life is a sci-fi horror movie that basically centers on the International Space Station, in which the crew of scientists are working on a newly discovered life form or entity, for lack of a better term. And then we see that this entity is quite intelligent, is quite dangerous, and has no problem eliminating any life whatsoever in order to sustain itself. So when talking about life, we want to break it down into the, what's good, what's not so good. So with the good, I will say very upfront, the use of tension and the use of music in order to build up the suspense and tension of a situation, done very well here. This is actually a very good example of using music to kind of get people prepared for what they know is going to be a jump scare or something bad is about to happen, versus a bad example I would say would be the movie ISS, which I talked about a few months ago. I'll have a link to that in the description. So definitely the music, the mood, the ambiance, done very well here. The casting is done, it's actually a very high-end cast that I didn't even expect until I started looking up the movie and doing some more research on it. But Ryan Reynolds, Hiroyuki Sanada, Jake Gyllenhaal, Rebecca Ferguson, and even though it's a small cast, of that cast, most of them are stars that you've seen in other works before, and they all work very well together here in this movie. It seems to work very well because there's not too terribly much interaction, because most of the film is going to be dealing with the entity. But on the other side of that, the casting works very well, so most of that film was centered around dealing with that entity. But unfortunately, that does come at the price of not really getting to know the crew very well. You don't get very much out of their lives and what they're into, except for one of the crewmates, the character played by Hiroyuki Sanada. He actually is communicating with his wife back on Earth. She's actually giving birth to their first child, and he's up in the space station, she's down on Earth. So there's, that very much comes up and plays a role in it. It's one of the few kind of, okay, that's something about the characters that we're going to put some investment and some care into to get the viewer to care, basically. Something that was good, I would say the creature itself. When it first ends up on the ship, it's actually, very tiny. We're talking maybe a couple of inches across with a few tentacles to work with. But by the end of the movie, as it consumes and gets larger, it becomes more terrifying, which is a very excellent way to show a threat is increasing, things are getting worse, bad stuff is happening, and bad stuff is going to happen, especially when you see the ending of the movie, but I won't spoil that. One final thing that I will say that I was not very much a fan of was the overall lighting of the movie, to the point where it almost made it hard to see what was going on. And I don't mean in the sense of trying to set the mood and atmosphere of a dark and scary place, but almost beyond dark and scary place into the what in the world is going on here, I need to change the brightness settings on my monitor. But again, that's a small quibble compared to the overall great things in the movie. But yes, those are my thoughts on the movie Life. It's currently available on Netflix. It's an all-around good watch, I would say. If you got some time, go ahead and check it out. You folks have a good day. Jolly Yellow out. As always, keep exploring.